Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you again to our YouTube channel. My name is Professor Kevin. So in today's video, I'll be assisting you with exponential and logarithmic function. So we are given these two sketched graphs below, which is g of x that is represented by k to the power x. We were told where k is greater than 0, and we're also having y equals to the inverse of g. We're also given a coordinate 2 is to 36, which is a point on our function g of x. Then the first question says determine the value of k. Okay, we have to determine the value of k. The value of k is there. Okay, so how are we going to find our k? We have to use the coordinates that we are having on our function. If you can check, we are given this coordinate 2 is to 36. So this is the coordinate that we are going to use to calculate or to determine our k. Okay, let me write it. G of x, we given it is k to the power x. Okay, so we need to substitute this coordinate into our function. 36 is the value of y, so it will be placed where there's g of x equals to k to the power. This 2 is the x value, so where there's x, I'm going to replace 2. Okay, so 36 is equals to k squared. I hope we can also solve this one. Then obviously k is going to be plus or minus 6, but because we've been told we could, okay, k it is positive, so or greater than 0, something that is greater than 0, it means it's positive. So our k it is positive 6 only. Okay, so it means our k it is 6. We are done. The next question, give the equation of inverse of g in the form of y equals to. Okay, so you need to know this basic. If you're having y is equals to b to the power x, okay, it means that the inverse of this function, let me call it f of x, so that can be simple for me to write the inverse. Okay, if you're having f of x is equals to b to the power x. Okay, so it means the inverse of this function is going to be log this base. It's going to be here, and then you're going to write x. So this means it's log x base b. So even here, if you can check g of x, it is 6 to the power x, because k it is 6. So it means the inverse of this one, they said we must write it in terms of y, in the form of y. The inverse is going to be log, what is our base there? Is 6, then x. Okay, so this is the equation of inverse of g, log x base 6. Okay, that's it. We are done with 8.1.2. till we have dealt with these questions. So the next question is, for which values of x is the inverse of g less than or equal to 0? Okay, to determine where a function is less than 0, it is where the function is below the x-axis. So we need to check this function here, inverse of g, where on the condition that the function will be below x-axis. Let's start by finding the x coordinate. Our x coordinate here obviously is 1 and 0. 1 and 0. Okay, that's our x-intercept. That's the x-intercept because it interchanges with the y-intercept of the original function. If you have done the inverse functions, you will understand me better. Okay, so no x-intercept, it's at 0.1. Okay, so we need to find where this function is below the x-axis, because they're saying less than or equal to 0. Less than 0, it means below the x-axis. If you can check from this one, from that 0.1, let me use another curve. From 0.1, if we move to the right, okay, our function is going up. It is above the x-axis, so we don't want that condition. Okay, so we have to start again from 0.1 to the left. Our function is below x-axis, and that's where we want. And there's a restriction. This function we are seeing here of the logarithmic function, it has the asymptote. Its asymptote is x is equals to 0. So this graph, the logarithmic or inverse of g, cannot touch the y-axis. Okay, so here it is. So it means the function will be below x-axis from 0 to positive 1. Okay, from 0, x that are between 0 and 1. Okay, just because there's less than or equal to, I'm going to include it here for 1 only. But for 0, I'm not going to include it because our function or our x cannot be 0 because that is our asymptote. So you must be very careful when you come across such kind of questions. You don't come and write it here equal sign. No, you are wrong. So it must be included at 1 only. Okay, so you need to be very much careful. Then we are also given write down the domain of h of x. Okay, h of x is given by g, the inverse of g into x minus 3. Okay, so this means that g of x has been shifted 3 units or has moved 3 units to the right. Okay, and okay, we have to find the domain. The domain of g of x before it was shifted, the domain of inverse of g, sorry, inverse of g before it was shifted, the domain is x greater than 0. The domain of this logarithmic function or the inverse of g before it is shifted 3 units to the right. Okay, so if it is shifted 3 units to the right, it means now instead of greater than 0 is going to be greater than 3. That is the new domain or the domain of h of x. H of x, that is the domain x greater than 3. Okay, that is our domain. So the next question says sketch the graph of the inverse of y is equals to x. Okay, we need to sketch the graph of the inverse of this one, y is equals to x. Okay, what is the inverse of y is equals to y is equals to 1? Sorry, we have to sketch the inverse of this function here, y equal to 1. Okay, what is the inverse of this function? The inverse of this function is x is equals to 1. Yes, that is the inverse of this function. So it means we must sketch this function. Okay, so this one is going to be simple. It's like it's a vertical function. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, yeah, it will pass at x is equals to 1. So this is our function x is equals to 1. We are done. It's like the asymptote, the vertical asymptote. So that one was very simple. Then the last question says, correct, is the inverse of y is equals to 1 a function? They are referring to this one. Correct. X is equals to 1. Is it a function? Motivate your answer. Okay. The answer is no. This is not a function. No, it's not a function. It's not a function. So what is the reason? If you can check, this is 1 to many. It's 1 to many. If you did if you have the basics of functions, you understand this better. 1 to many. This is a 1 to many function, and the 1 to many function is not a function. 1 to many relation. So this is 1 to many. So it's not a function. 1 to many relation is not a function. Okay. So we have 1 to 1, many to 1, and 1 to many. 1 to many, it's not a function. This means you have a single value of x at many values of y. Like many values of y has single, or they are sharing value of a single value of x. If you can check, let me give an example. Let's take our y here is 36. As you can see, obvious this point is 1 and 36. Also here we have 1 is to 0. We can have negative 2. Not negative 2. 1 is to negative 2. Sorry. 1 is to negative 2. I want to show you the interpretation of 1 is to many. You can have 1 is to negative 2. So if you can check, these y values, they are sharing the one or a single value of x or a common value of x. So we call it 1 to many. You have to go back and do the basics if you don't know the meaning of 1 to many. It's not my duty to explain that. Okay, so we are done with this problem. Thank you guys for watching this video. please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and also don't forget to like the video. Don't just watch our videos, please like and subscribe so that we can upload more videos. If you need preparation on your trial examination or you need classes, you can simply WhatsApp me on this number 066 276 4810. Okay, you can call me or WhatsApp me on this number if you need classes for mathematics. We offer classes from grade 10 up to grade 12. So if you need help with maths, you can simply contact me on that number. Thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like, share.